To this tutorial, my name is Njok Samson Ebere, and I'll be teaching you what the CSS Box Model is all about. Now, the CSS Box Model helps define the structure or layout of every HTML element we see on a web page. It consists of four things. That is the HTML element itself, the padding, which is the space that surrounds the HTML element, the border, which now houses the padding and the HTML elements, and then the margin, which is the space that surrounds the border, and it is also the space that stands between the border and the body element. Let's look at it in practical terms. So let's write some code. We'll be using CodePen to write out the code for this tutorial. What we have here is an image, and you will notice that it already has some spaces around it. Now we want to remove these because this is the default styles that HTML and CSS gives to us as soon as we put an element on the page. So for us to do that, look at what we'll do. We'll use the asterisk, showing that anything we put on this page should have these styles. So we are removing the margin, so we set the margin to 0. We are removing the padding, so we are setting the padding to 0. We also want to remove the border, if any, set it to 0. So by default, this is the style. You notice that there is no longer any space around the image. So to demonstrate this, let us reduce the image so that we could see the full size of this image. So we'll set the image height to, let's put it at 300 pixels, and set the width to the same 300 pixels. All right, let me get this off your screen. Okay, let it stay down here. That's my face. All right, so we have the image in a way we can see it. Now, what are we talking about? We are saying that this image now, which is a HTML element, has three properties that surrounds it, or three spaces that surrounds it. One of them is the padding, the other one is the margin, the other one is the border. Now, the space between the first space we see after the image is the padding, and the next space will be the border, while the space that now covers everything is the margin. For you to easily understand this, we'll start by putting in the border, because the padding and the margin are just empty spaces. So the border stays between both of them. So let's first of all add the border. We'll set it to 10 pixels. That is, this 10 pixels is the width of the border, or the border thickness, and we are putting in a solid color of green. You can see the green border around the image, right? Good. Now we want a space between this image and the border, so that is the padding. So we add a padding, and let's set it to 20 pixels. We are making these numbers big so that we could easily understand it. Now notice that there is a space now between the image and the border. Now we also want a space between the border and the space outside. So we set in a margin, and let's use 20 pixels too. Awesome. Now notice that there is now a space between the border and outside. Now this is what the CSS Box Model is all about. It helps us understand how our pages are laid out, how every element on the page is, how much border we give, how much padding we give, how much margin we give. Now because you understand this, it is easier for you to now write clean code. It is easy for you to write easily maintainable code, and you can easily understand how these pages are structured, and of course you save time. Thank you very much, and please let's connect on Twitter, on GitHub. See you next time.